everyone. In this video, we will learn about Mendel's third law of inheritance, that is the law of independent assortment. In our previous videos, we have already discussed about the law of dominance and the law of segregation. Both the law of dominance and law of segregation could be either understood using a monohybrid or a dihybrid cross. But to understand this particular law here, we'll be needing a dihybrid cross. So you know that in a dihybrid cross, we consider two characters at a time. So the characters that I will be considering here are going to be of a pea plant and the character of height with traits as tall and dwarf, and the second character that I will be taking is going to be the color of the flower, which could be either purple or white. I have written it like this because these are dominant and these are recessive. The dominant ones are represented with a capital letter and recessive ones are represented with a lowercase letter. Same with the other trait. So this is the genotype of parents that I am getting for a dihybrid cross. As you can notice here that we have taken homozygous condition. Why? Because Mendel, he always focused and he always did all the experiments using a pure line. So in a pure line, heterozygous condition is not here, rather there is going to be only homozygous condition. Now if I talk about the possibility of gametes in this case, so let's see how the alleles are going to get paired up to form gametes. So there is going to be these possibilities that I am making it here. The dominant T can go with dominant P and like this. So these are the four possibilities of gametes that I am getting here. Four gametes possibilities. All four as capital T and capital P alleles. If I talk about this case here, see it very carefully how I am pairing it up. Like this. And here also I am getting how many gametes? I am getting here 4 gametes, each having lowercase alleles. So next thing what Mendel did was he put them together and he found out all the possibilities of the progenies that they will be having. So let me plot these in a Punnett square for you. So for plotting a Punnett square, the number one thing that I'll do is I will write the possible gametes of one parent here. So the gametes of first parents were these and the gametes of second parent are these. So to plot a Punnett square, we are going to be needing gametes of both the parents. Now, using this Punnett square, I can find out the genotype and phenotype of F1 generation here. So let's see for the very first case. In the first case, we will be taking this here and this here. So capital T, lowercase t, capital P, lowercase p. So this is the genotype of first progeny. If we are first considering about the genotypes, then I will take you towards the phenotype. If I take this case, I will take this here and this. Same. This is going to be for all the 16 progenies. For all the 16 F1 generation progenies, the genotype is going to be this, if the genotype is this, I can easily tell about the phenotype. So the phenotype is going to be tall and purple. Why tall and purple? Because when dominant is present, recessive alleles are not going to express themselves. So the tallness and purple trait is going to be expressed in the F1 generation. This also clears one of the previous rules that we have studied, the law of dominance. In the law of dominance, we studied that in the F1 generation, the genotype, or we can say the phenotype, is going to be similar with one of the parent. So the tallness and the purple flower is, or we can say, was present in one of the parents earlier. Using this progeny here, using the F1 generation here, next thing what Mendel did was he self-pollinated the F1 generation plants. In self-pollination, we are going to use the same plant and we are going to do selfing. So after selfing, the possible gamete formation for the F2 generation is going to be this T can go with dominant P, dominant T can also go with recessive P, recessive T can go with dominant P, and recessive T can go with recessive P. So these are the 4 gametes that we will be using for plotting the Punnett square for F2 generation, just like we did in the F1 generation. But here we are not considering a dihybrid cross. We are not learning about it. We are just learning about the law of independent assortment. So this law simply says that capital T, or we can say this allele, is independently free, or we can say is free to pair up with either dominant P, like in this case, or this T can go with recessive allele. Again, recessive allele can go with dominant allele, and here also recessive allele can go with recessive allele. So the law of independent assortment, it says that when there are 2 pair of characters present, in the starting we took 2 pair of characters that were the height of the plant and the color of the flower. The distribution of alleles of one character, the distribution of alleles of one character, let's say we are talking about height first, so the distribution of alleles of tallness and dwarfness into gametes, these are the gametes, into gametes, is independent of distribution of alleles of other character. How the alleles of tallness and dwarfness go into gametes is totally independent of how the gametes of purple and white flower go into gametes. These are not going to interfere with these into the gametes that they go in. So this is the law of independent assortment. When there are 2 pair of characters, the distribution of alleles of one character into gametes is independent of distribution of another character. Dominant can go with dominant of another character. Recessive of one character can go with dominant of another character, and so on. Also, there are topic-wise worksheets available. Kindly leave a comment in the comment section if you wish to avail the same. So don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below. Also hit the bell icon so that you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Thank you.